I still remember the cold sting of their words, every cruel syllable engraved deep into my mind. "That's a ridiculous dream," my mother had said, her voice laced with condescension. "You'll never make it. You're embarrassing the family." My father just shook his head, eyes filled with disappointment. My siblings snickered behind my back, whispering about how I was wasting my life chasing some foolish fantasy. For years, I carried that shame like a heavy shroud. Every day I doubted myself, questioning whether I was doomed to be the family's laughingstock forever. But beneath that doubt, something fierce burned, a stubborn spark that refused to die. I knew somehow that my dream was real, that it was worth fighting for. Even if no one believed in me, I had to believe in myself. So I left. I packed my bags and stepped out into the unknown, determined to prove everyone wrong. I poured every ounce of my energy into my passion, designing, creating, building a name for myself. It wasn't easy. There were nights I slept on floors, days I thought I'd give up. But I kept going. Every setback became fuel, every rejection a lesson. Slowly, my work started gaining recognition. My designs, bold, unconventional, unapologetic, began to turn heads. I was building something real. Years passed, and I became someone I barely recognized. I had transformed my passion into a thriving business. My name was now spoken with respect in the industry. I had flown across the world, showcased my work at major exhibitions, and finally, I had made it. I was no longer the girl they mocked or dismissed. I was a woman who had fought tooth and nail for her place in the world. And then, one day, I decided it was time to go home, time to face the ghosts of my past, to show them what I had become. The drive back was a swirl of anticipation and trepidation. As I approached the old neighborhood, memories flooded in childhood laughter, family dinners, the echo of their dismissive voices. I wondered if they still saw me as that foolish dreamer, or if they would finally see the woman I had become. I pulled into the driveway of the house I once knew. It looked the same, but somehow smaller, less vibrant. I stepped out, heart pounding, and took a deep breath. I was ready. Walking through the door, I was met with silence, then my mother's tentative voice, Who is that?" It was my father, eyes wide with disbelief. My siblings looked up from their phones, mouths agape. I stood tall, my figure confident and unshakable. "It's me," I said. "I'm back." The room was heavy with unspoken questions. Then I revealed what I had built. I took out my portfolio, my awards, the photographs of my latest exhibitions. I watched their eyes widen as they took in the evidence of my success. I saw my mother's hand tremble as she reached out, unsure whether to touch or dismiss. And then the moment arrived, the moment I had envisioned so many times in my darkest hours. I looked directly into their eyes and said, "I told you I'd make it. I told you I'd prove you wrong." And I did. There was silence for a long moment. Then my father's voice broke through, softer than I'd ever heard. "We never believed you wouldn't. We just didn't understand your dream." My mother's eyes filled with tears. My siblings looked away, uncomfortable, but I saw a flicker of respect in their eyes. I stepped closer, voice steady but filled with emotion. "I needed to leave to find myself, to prove that my worth isn't measured by your approval, but by my own belief in what I can do. This isn't just about success, it's about standing tall despite everything. I am proud of what I've become, and I hope you are too." The room was silent again, but this time it felt different. Lighter. The walls that once echoed with doubt now echoed with a quiet acknowledgement. I realized that in finally returning, I had reclaimed my truth, and in doing so, I had shown them what resilience really looks like. Walking away that day, I knew I had finally closed that chapter of pain and rejection. I had turned my scars into strength. I had proved that even the most ruthless doubts couldn't stop a woman determined to forge her own path. And as I drove away from that house, I carried with me a simple, powerful truth. No matter how deep the rejection, no matter how loud the mockery, your dreams can rise from the ashes. You just have to have the courage to chase them, and the strength to return, not to seek approval, but to stand tall and say, "Look what I've become."